today afternoon's tea talk, what I like to talk about is green buildings. Okay, so basically, I'll just run through what our new building at Shaftesbury Square. It's going to be a green rated building. I'll just go through the concept of how we actually rate green building. What are the tools that we actually do to rate this, the green elements. I won't get too technical about it, and then also why we are going, why a lot of buildings in Malaysia are looking in the direction of green as well, and what are the benefits, how will it impact the environment globally, locally, and what are the effects as well. Okay. So just to give you a background, the Commission in 2011 we approved the purchase of Block D at Shaftesbury Square. So the building is supposed to be a long-term strategic plan. The new block will be the new corporate tower for SKMM. It will have approximately 212 square feet. 212 square feet is almost more than double what we have here. Okay? It's 22 stories. Contractually, it's supposed to complete first quarter of next year. That is for the actual building envelope alone. The ID work will take another 6 months. Hopefully, we can actually tie up the ID works and the construction work together, and and then we can actually move it by quarter 1 or quarter 2, 2014. And the tower will be a gold certification. This is actually in line with the government policy that most of the new government buildings have to be certified. Okay? So why do we need a new building? Okay? If you're not sure where the new building is, okay, you can see Shaftesbury Square development here. You can see part of MCMC here. This is Jalan Ipat. Currently, you can see all the retail shop, Starbucks, and everything here. Our block will be, it's actually 5 blocks. You can see the 2 blocks, which are service apartments, 3 office towers, 1 is an SME tower, 2 corporate towers, and our new corporate building will be the one. This is block B. So hopefully the new building will be the landmark in Salvage area. The highest, no, not the highest actually, but in elevation wise it will be the highest one. Because LHPN building is almost similar height, but we are on a higher, platforms it will be higher. Okay, again, why we are going to the new office is actually to address the office space shortage we are currently facing. Currently, we are renting, we are occupying spaces in various locations. Prima 1, we are having about 3 floors. Visas at Block C, part of our other subdivisions are there. Wisma Pahlawan, Space Training Building where our foreign groups are, and Wisma Sunway where our CRO office is. We are targeting, based on HR's projections as well, the new building will cater space up to 2015 to 2020. Currently, our HQ is almost 300. Total, the whole number of staff of SKMM, including regional office, is about 600. So our building design is actually 260. So we are actually, we're actually bursting the seams. I'm sure all of you all know as well. And another thing is to make sure that we actually provide a safe and conducive working environment. The management have plans to relocate CRO to our new building, and also we have the 5 foreign groups. We plan to bring in the 5 foreign groups to our new building as well. why do we go for green or sustainable buildings in law? One is save energy resources, recycle materials, minimize the emission of toxic substances through its life cycle, harmonize with local climate traditions, culture, surrounding environment, able to sustain, improve quality of life, and actually Putrajaya is one of the first green township in Malaysia. The Prime Minister's office is actually certified. We're actually going for a gold certification. It's under works to go for a gold certification. So actually, the whole of Putrajaya township is planned to be environmentally friendly, with green lung areas. The buildings are of low rise, especially the offices. What are the existing green buildings? Okay. In Cyberjaya, we have the CSF. The CSF is not the one at Jalan Impact, it's actually the one at Domain. So that's the certified green. We have the NTT Cyberjaya. I'm sure you have seen it when you're approaching the traffic light, which is a silver rating. The Shell building, which is near to IBM, it is actually a LEED gold building. Okay, it is also going for a GBI gold as well. I'll run through you what are different rating systems. And of course, the very famous and iconic building is actually the Suruhan Jayatanagar. They call it the Diamond Building, which is actually a platinum rated building. So if you're not familiar, it's actually behind the immigration office. So that's so currently, to our record, we have gold Shell building, silver in Cyberjaya, and certified. Hopefully, ours will be the next gold building in Cyberjaya. We are targeting gold, so hopefully we'll get the certification. So why do we do why are we going for green buildings? Why are we going for sustainable practices? Okay, during the conference of climate change parties in 2009, Malaysia actually made a commitment that will actually reduce the carbon intensity by 40%. So this is actually based on the GDP and against emission of carbon. Currently, our carbon is about 0.62. Last 40%, they're supposed to go down by 3.7. That is the plan, but this figure might not be able to achieve because there's a lot of issues with it. Probably we might come up to 0.41. Okay, so in comparison, what is a green building and what is a normal office building? It is 26% less energy in terms of consumption. Maintenance-wise, about 30% less. 27% high occupancy satisfaction. 33% less gas emissions. That means the usage of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels usage means you are using less electricity, air conditioning. So by having a green building, it actually, it's actually an environmental strategy. You minimize running costs, non-toxic materials are used, maximizing indoor comfort. You have to practice recycling, water usage, use less water, energy regeneration, solar panels, heat water panels. You are required to purchase some of the materials locally, and also you have a low environmental impact on the materials as well. Okay, some of the tools or some of the rating systems that are existing in the market now is in UK they have the BREEAM, in US you have the LEED. In Malaysia, a number of MNC companies they go on LEED. And also the Singapore green mark as well. In Canada, they have the BPAC. There is a GB tool which is commonly used in about 20 countries in Europe. Then you have the TESB in Japan. You have the LCA in Hong Kong. You have the Green Star in Australia. And you have the Green Mark in Singapore. So in Malaysia, we call it GBI or Green Building Index. Actually, GBI was started by Persatuan Architect Malaysia, Malaysian Institute of Consulting Engineers. It's actually a non-profit organization. So they actually sat down together with the ministry, decided to come back with the criteria, the rating, the indexing, and they benchmarked against a number of countries, including Australia's rating system, the US LEED system, and the closest was Singapore, the Green Mark as well. Green Mark in Singapore was established in 2005. The GBI Malaysia was established in 2009. So some of the goals for GBI is to define green buildings by establishing a common language, so that the standard rating system, promote integrated whole building design, recognize and reward the buildings. That's why you have different rating systems. Actually, most of the different, in terms of property market as well, if you are a GBI rated building, you actually can demand a premium for the buildings. So, if a standard office is maybe $2.50 per square foot, if it's a green rated building, you probably can command $3.50 or $4. Example. So, this is a comparison. You can see that green building indexing, there's actually 6 areas which you have to qualify. One is energy efficiency, indoor environmental quality, sustainable site management, material resources, water efficiency, and innovation. So you can see it's very similar to Singapore and similar to the US and Australia. We actually, they did a benchmarking against this and actually sort of designed it and modified it to suit our condition, our local construction practices. So that's how the Green Building Index criteria has come. Okay, so as I mentioned, the categories, the 6 categories are energy efficiency, indoor environmental quality, sustainable site management, materials and resources, water efficiency and innovations. So I'll just briefly go through the different subcategories. So in energy efficiency, you're supposed to use energy efficient equipment. You won't be using, you'll be using either LED lights or T5 fluorescent lights. You have a zoning system of the lights. So typical office area will have different zones. So with one switch you don't switch off the whole area. And then you have sub-metering at different floor levels to monitor the usage of electricity. Renewable energy, on our building we'll have solar panels to qualify for the renewable energy. And then there is BI. BI rating is a building energy index. Currently, most of the buildings in Malaysia, it comes around 200 to 250 range. Building energy index is measured on the kilowatt hour divided by the floor area. Currently, the BI for green building, you're supposed to go below 150. Okay. Then this is the commissioning part. They have enhanced the people from GBI, the so-called auditors will come and ensure that all these are complied. Then you have the indoor air quality, which monitors air quality performance. We'll have carbon dioxide sensors in the building to ensure that the air quality is at I mean, it's at a healthy level. We have tobacco control. We have indoor air pollutants, which the monitoring system will actually control. Mold prevention, thermal comfort, air change effectiveness. And then site planning. So site planning is actually where we actually base the building on. When we actually bought the building, some of the things we had difficulty in qualifying the points, mainly because when we purchased the building, it already started on the construction side of it. So we actually came at a later stage when we bought the building, and then also when we insisted on green as well. So there were some so-called problems. Some of the problems were like site selection, because the site selection was already predetermined. Brownfield development is actually a site which was, say, previously was occupied as an industrial area or a factory, and then you redevelop it to do it as an office building. But in this case, it doesn't apply. And then development density and community connectivity. So some of the criteria that you have to qualify for a gold building is, where your building is located. You're supposed to have bus connectivity, train connectivity. You're supposed to have clinics nearby. You're supposed to have schools nearby. You're supposed to have supermarkets nearby. So so these are some of the elements that requires. Then during the construction site, earthworks and pollution control, QLASIC is actually a standard for construction. Even up to worksite amenities are also considered. Like in our case, actually, when they first started, all the workers were staying in the site. All the Kongsi Kong and everything was there. So when we came in, we told them we're going for gold. They had to relocate all these people outside the construction site. So there was added cost to it. So some of the requirements are needed to qualify. So this is the one I was mentioning: public transport accessibility, green vehicle priority. So those people who are planning to buy new cars, you get a hybrid car or a green car, you get priority parking in the vehicle. Parking capacity as well. Rest assured, we've got enough parking lots for everybody in the building. So some of the sustainable site management is stormwater control, greenery on the rooftop, and then this is on the maintenance side. Stormwater control is actually how you actually manage the excess overflow water during rain, discharge of water, and you control the pollution during construction as well. Greenery, hopefully we actually targeted to have a small garden on the rooftop. Hopefully we're actually working on the details of it, and we hope to realize that, we hope to achieve that green roof. Okay. Materials and resources. During construction, you're supposed to reuse the material, recycle the content. Material reuse is actually, if you look at traditional construction methods, you can see most of the formworks are done by wood, by plywood and everything. But in this case, they're actually using aluminium and iron formworks. So you actually reuse the same formwork over and over again. So that's how you reduce some of the timber. And of course, timber, you cut down less trees, and then you save the forest, and then recycle content. So any extra construction rubbish, they have to separate them, like concrete, iron, wood, they have to separate this all on site. Regional materials, to encourage regional materials, the contractor has to source materials regionally within a radius of 500 kilometers. So, so most tiles and wood or whatever he has to source regionally. Sustainable timber, any wood material, they have to be, they call it FSC certified. So you have to get it from a sustainable forest. Okay, you'll have recyclable containers and storage areas, waste management, clean refrigerants for air conditioning, okay, water efficiency, that is rainwater harvesting. So whatever rainwater harvesting, whatever rain which is actually collected to the basement. Actually, even some of this during, as I mentioned before, we actually bought the building once they started building. So we had some engineering difficulties because they had to construct the rainwater housing at the basement. So they had to bring in special equipment to construct the tank at the basement level because of the height restrictions. Water recycling. There'll be two recycling there. So rainwater and water recycling. Most of the rainwater we'll use it for the toilets and also for the garden. Water recycling from the wash basins. They call it grey water, will also be recycled as well. Water efficient irrigation, water efficient fittings. That means you have taps, whatever water fitting in your flushing system. They'll be either using less water, and they'll have different levels. You either have less water or more water. And the water system will have a metering and a leak detection system as well. And innovation and designs. So there will be a couple of innovation ideas or equipment or pieces of machinery that will be used to enhance the building. One is, we probably might have a wind turbine. We're trying to work on it as well. There are a couple of other things we are working. Actually, there's about 6 items we are actually working on. So I can't elaborate further because we have to check with the engineers to see which will be the most suitable. So these are the 6 areas, as I mentioned earlier, the breakdown on how to qualify for SKMM to achieve its GBI goal. And why we're going for a gold building? So actually buildings have a high impact on built the impact of built environment on globally, locally. Buildings actually cause 40% of greenhouse emissions. The usage of electricity, air conditioning, 12% of the world's water, 40% of the solid waste generated, air quality, and building uses 1/3 of the world resources. You can see coming to greenhouse effect, you can see the 5-year average temperatures has been rising. Okay, and what does globally, if your temperature rise, what are the effects we have? Okay, 2011 was the 9th warmest year since 1880. 9 of the 10 warmest years since 2000. 30% increase global energy by 2025, and 50% global oil resources already exploited. Increasing number of flood and cyclones. I'm sure you can see flooding is very common now. Okay, last year New South Wales was almost flooded. I mean, you don't have to go as far as New South Wales. Earlier last year, Kuantan was flooded. 2 years back, Bangkok. Even now, you can see thunderstorms. I'm sure you've seen thunderstorms nowadays with lightning and rain. Most of us probably never seen this before. Over the last few years, it's been, quite dramatic. And what does climate change increase in temperature globally? What does it have? 1%, you can see the Arctic and the polar caps melting. 2% increase, you can see the coral reefs are dying. Actually, this is already happening in the Great Barrier Reefs in Australia. A lot of the corals are bleaching already and they're breaking up. And of course, when the coral reefs are affected, you have the whole ecosystem, the whole ocean ecosystem is affected. With the plankton dying, you have plankton dying, you have fish dying, and which end of the day is actually fish and other sea animals or creatures we use for consumption as well. Amazon rainforest drying up. It's already starting. It's getting exploited. Many of the coastal cities could be flooded. You can see some of the indications in the Mekong Delta. 4 degrees. You can see most of the low-lying area like Bangladesh, Thailand, probably even Netherlands, which is already below the sea, getting flooded. We can see climate refugees, which is already happening in Darfur in Africa now. And then 6 degrees, you can see a lot of the coastal cities, a lot of the outer islands of Indonesia and Philippines will be all wiped out, will be all under the sea. That is 6% increase in global temperature. So what are the key issues in Malaysia? We are seeing urban population increase by 40 to 50% by 2030. Okay, 24% of the urban home energy is the use of cars to and from work. Okay, 31% energy is used for car after work. Okay, and it's said that by 2015 we will be the net importer for energy. You can see the urban population by 2010 already reaching almost 80%, which I mentioned earlier before. Okay, so you can see our cities will be growing bigger. The rural areas, you can see a migration of people from rural areas to the urban areas. Okay, we will be a net importer of fossil fuels. Okay, you can see the crude oil and everything is going up. We'll be importing fuel by 2015. That's the current trend that's going on. You can see the world consumption, 80 to 95% is actually fossil fuels, actually coal, oil, natural gas. Most of the power stations in Malaysia runs on natural gas, oil and coal. And it's only a few percentage which is actually on hydro. We're supposed to go nuclear. I'm not sure how well the taking place. So I was mentioning, okay, the BEI, currently most of the building energy index is 200, 250. It's only a handful is 150 below. The Securities Commission was 120. Leo building is the old KTK building in Putrajaya, which is 100. The Zio building in Bangi, which is actually zero actually. What they do, they actually use 50 kilowatt of energy. They achieve zero because they got solar panels to cover 50. So it's 50 minus 50, so that's why they're achieving the zero target. The ST building is 80. Our building will probably be between 100 and 150. That's the target of the BEI. Okay, so you can see, so I mentioned to you the Zio building. Zio is actually zero energy office. And Leo is low energy office, and these are normal buildings. So this is the Zio building in Bangi. This is the Leo building in Putrajaya. So the solar panels for the Zio building is actually producing 50 kilowatt hour. So So that's why their consumption is actually 50 kilowatt. So that minuses off that. So they actually it's a zero energy building. So coming back to our building, okay. So based on the 6 criteria, total points is 100. We are targeting those different areas. We are hoping to get 80. Okay. For green building index, this is a classification. 50 to 65 is certified. 60 to 75 is silver. 75 to 85 is gold, and 86 plus is platinum. So we are targeting 80. So hopefully, because sometimes you can target 80, but then the auditor comes, you might call out 1 or 2 marks, then just to give us a buffer. Okay. So this is our target, 80 points. So if you get between 76 and 85, you'll get a full certification. Okay. So this is how our new office will look like. It's an artist's impression. So the building will actually have low E glass, we double glaze. We try to capture as much of the natural light as possible, because that's how you actually reduce the energy consumption. So the lights will be based on sensor or task lights. Okay. And I'll just give you a brief picture of some of the areas. So these are just currently, if you can see, we just taken a few days back. We have actually reached 6th floor. This is block C, SME block. Okay. This is another angle. So if you go to the office, the one nearest to you is the one which is going to be our building. So actually the front entrance will be here from Jalan Impact. Okay? So this will be the front entrance. You'll have two entrances. You'll have entrance from the front, okay, and you have entrance from the shops. Where's the parking? Okay. Parking. All right. You can actually see. Okay. For those who have gone to Shaftesbury Square, you can see all the car park, the back of it. So that's where all the parking levels. There's actually 5 levels of parking. So all the office block and the apartments share a common podium. So the ground floor actually sits on the podium. Okay, imagine this is the podium. So these are all the office towers, and below here is all the 5 levels of car park. So we have our allocated car park below that, and it's checked. It's supposed to have something like 4,000 car parks. Almost, but that is including the apartments. So we've got dedicated car parks for us. So this is currently in construction stage. This is a proposed ID. So this is how the new lobby will look like. Give you another view. This is all the meeting rooms. This will be what, level 1, level 2. This is a payment counter. It's another view of the payment counter. So we have a cafeteria, but the cafeteria is not a full-fledged cafeteria. So we just already got a Starbucks out there. So this is a waiting area.
Waiting area.
So this is another view of the Right,
warna dia memang dah gelap. Favorite dia. Uyuh.
So, this is one of the executive meeting
Boardroom
rooms. It's a banquet hall, banquet room.
Banquet room. Oh, ni dekat boardroom
Banquet room. Boardroom. It's not completed yet, so it's only half. So you're right there, some views. So it's the minister's room. This auditorium. Auditorium. We're trying to see whether we can fit 400 people in there. The chairs, if you go to PWTC, is actually a retractable chairs. So the chairs will automatically move back and then they'll stack up again. So you can use the hall as a multi-purpose hall as well. So we're working towards that as well. So what can you do? So you can use less paper, recycle paper, plant a tree, separate your household waste, use less water, reduce plastic bags, use recycled ones, reduce the usage of paper. So of course, moving into the green building is just the part of it. Once you occupy the building, we have to do some, all of us have to do some changes in our work practices. First thing, you won't find any bins near your desk. You're going to remove all the bins from your places. And so there'll be no rubbish bins at the workstation. So we'll try and we have to practice recycling. We have to practice usage of less paper, less water. So all that. As we go through, we'll actually conduct some exercises and classes to cater for the green building. So I'll let you know more. So go green and together we will save the planet. So that's my talk for the day. Thank you very much. So you have any questions?
Just now you were talking about the climate change. Is there anything to on earthquake?
Earthquake? I can't say much about earthquake actually. Malaysia is actually outside the so-called the ring of fire.
Yeah, I mean, last time we could feel. So is there anything that could minimize that?
Oh, okay. In terms of construction practices, most of the buildings in Malaysia are so-called not earthquake-proof, because that's not earthquake-proof will be actually very costly. Because the engineers they have a certain criteria and a certain standard to meet. So actually, most of the building is actually about 10 to 20% above the spec. So to say earthquake-proof, when Indonesia gets an earthquake or when Philippines get an earthquake, you don't feel the building swaying. It's very subjective, because sometimes it will affect. You will have that effect. You can't actually go away from that. Because sometimes it depends. You can see. Normally when that happens, you can see it happens in KL, it happens in Penang, in Malacca or JB. So these are actually the best most areas. What will happen to this building? That's $10 million question. So actually the management wanted us to all go there. Okay, the space is enough. We believe so far. After doing all the maths and everything, it's enough. And then we're supposed to turn this into a recreational area. Okay, so we will. And sorry. yeah, that as well. And as well. So we are trying to work out a few things, like suppose have a jogging track, suppose have a better gym, swimming pool maybe. So all those things like, so we're trying to work out and see. But it could change, I'm not sure. Yeah.
So to reinstall, provided with green ergonomic, I mean especially for our workstation needs some ergonomic chair.
Yeah, will be.
So everything is new, right?
Everybody will have no back pain. It will.
Does the use less paper thing also be connected to
Yeah, actually, I understand what you're trying to say. There is actually a lot of document management system, but actually, it all depends, you see, because we can implement a document management system, but end of the day, it all depends on the relevant department, how they need to access those documents, and when they need it. You see, licensing have their own set of rules. When people submit their proposals or whatever, they can always say, hey, submit all your business programs or whatever in PDF or CD or thumb drive or whatever. If that is acceptable to them, it is well and good. Licensing might have, AA might have the requirements, and the license submit their whatever documentation. Legal might have their own set of rules. So, it is all these different departments and everything, how they can ensure that less paper is submitted to us, then we can actually, to me that's a big problem, because we got so much of filing cabinets, and I think in 20 years time I probably need another building to store all this filing cabinets. So we actually had a few round of talks with some of the departments, but they said, for licensing I need this, I must have this, I need to be accessed that, but I'm sure we all sit down and there is a way to work around it, but nothing is not possible. So actually, some of you are head of departments or whatever, go back and think and see how we can actually bring in less paper to the office. So, all the documentation can be stored online or scanned and saved somewhere, and if you can access it, then fine. Not only here, we actually have, no doubt, in some areas you need to have the hard copy. It's a question of two. One is to have hard copy with you for whatever reasons, whether it could be legal implications or whatever. That can be stored offsite. We got offsite storage, we got a secure offsite storage with the Galia. And then of course, the same copy, you need to access it online, then we should have that as well. No, actually, once when we give the so-called our proposal to GDI, they will actually do an initial assessment. They say, okay, based on this, they'll give you a provisional okay, saying that, okay, so far your building is can be certified gold, but also the building, like I said, there are a couple of criteria. The building has to be occupied at least 60%. Then they will do a survey. You have to get customer satisfaction and everything. So make sure. So we'll probably have to buy you all lunches. So they're all happy, So okay, all the occupants are very happy, And after they give the certification, it is renewed every 2 years. So they'll come after 2 years and they will actually see our consumption of electricity, our energy users, to show that we actually qualify all these indexes. So it's quite a challenge and a task on the property side.
Why are we targeting for gold, not platinum?
Platinum cannot because personally I would like to have platinum building, but you know, like I said, some of the qualifications we couldn't go in because we already started, and it made it more difficult because we are actually in a mixed development. If we had the land somewhere and then we were starting from scratch, yes, we could have got the platinum without. But in this case, and you know, but also it was it's a management decision. You might ask why but you know, we got this building here. We wanted someone somewhere close, so it's easy. So whatever we plan to have for here, whether we'll turn this into a monitoring center, whether a recreational center, and of course this is a building, and we got this is almost 2 acres, 3 acres of land. So that's why we got the building where it will complement the whole area. So we actually wanted to target platinum, but we just, when we did the initial sums, we just, 80 is even a task to get 80 points. Why you don't have, sorry? Cafeteria, okay. Why do we have we, like I said, we're trying to the cafeteria here will be maintained. The cafeteria will be maintained. So there is more like when we are cooking, there, you know, we have a lot of problems with. So we have a lot of problems with carbon dioxide emission. Disqualify everything, so that's the problem. All the unwanted pollutants and unwanted smell will come. You know. Sorry? Yeah, it's still maintained the cafeteria. So you actually can come and makan here. Takes time. So you come about 10 minutes earlier.
Ada tempat makan. Ada tempat makan kat dalam meeting. Kat dalam meeting.
Sorry, is there any what? We will work the details with you, like this is just a visual. Actually, for the plans and everything, early on last year, we actually contacted all your heads of divisions and departments to nominate a rep from your division who would like, on behalf of all the departments, to come up with the so-called wish list. We've got a fantastic wish list, long list wish. Some of them are out of this world wish list. So we have captured a lot, but then of course, you know, end of last year we had pre-op as well, so some of the things have done already. So we'll actually come back again. We will actually visit all the reps again, and then we will capture all the requirements as well.
They have a budget for. So, will the cost of the buildings have any effect on our bodies?
Desa, soalan apa? Desa.
Cost of the building, it's already budgeted. Any questions? Any last question?
Last question.